watching David's Montreal Beer Review. This is Season 4 and Episode 4, in which I'm going to do a American Craft Beer for you guys. As promised, every second episode is going to be up for American Craft Beer, so you probably can tell by the even numbers. Every even number is going to make American Craft Beer this season, and there are going to be 20 episodes all in all. So that's 10 American beers for you. So today we're going to go in a different direction. So from Southampton's IPA, which was the last American brew I reviewed, we're going to go to Massachusetts and Boston in particular. But it's not going to be a Sam Adams beer, it's going to be a Harpoon beer. So this is the Leviathan Saison Royale, which is a 9% season beer, Saison, which is a Belgian style. We'll talk about the style in a moment. So this is a 12 ouncer brown glass. I could already tell that the beer is going to be kind of cloudy from the bottle because it's not clear at all. It was about $3 at Whole Foods Market for single, probably cheaper in 6 packs. And Harpoon is a pretty well-known brewery out of Massachusetts, and this is the Special Imperial Series Leviathan. And I guess even though 9% is not, way out of the ordinary for Saison beers, but it's certainly a bit above average. So you could call this Imperial, but it's more of a high-class kind of beer. And I've never had a Saison, so it's going to be my first time. So let's dig in. Let's first talk about the style and then actually review the beer. Right, so Saison beers, or season, which is the virtual translation from French, originated from the Wallonia region of Belgium, which is a French-speaking region, and it's also, commonly called as a farmhouse ale. So originally these were like low-alcohol pale ales, pretty well hopped, and pretty much the point of making these beers was to preserve them as well, and also to use the water. The water was at times very undrinkable, and you could get ill just by drinking the water, so just kind of disinfected the water, I guess, throughout the brewing process. And these beers were brewed during the season, so the harvest season, the autumn, late autumn to winter, and then they could preserve this throughout the, until the next year. And these beers were commonly drunk by, the peasants and the common folks and farmers. They didn't want to get too drunk while they work, but they would consume quite a bit of this beer during their labour time in autumn. So with time, these beers kind of got stronger and probably acquired more complexity as well. So nowadays, 5 to 8% is the average for these beers. The one I'm going to review is 9, but it's not, as I've said, it's not that out of the ordinary. It's still pretty appropriate. And yeah, so it's another Belgian style. I've never tried it. They're usually cloudy, bottle conditioned, unfiltered, and should have some nice fruitiness and some hops as well. So let's dig in now. Alright, so I'll read the description of the bottle. It's very, very brief. Brewed with a unique blend of spices, Leviathan Saison features loads of fruity esters and spicy acidity, finishes dry with delicate noble hop notes. And here's the label in case you haven't seen, and the cap is just it's an H inside the rhombus, and that's about it. Let's crack it open. And I'm actually going to be using my tulip glass, which is one of the proper ways to serve this kind of beer. Should be good. Let's give it a try. Of course, it's my La Choupe glass. Smells quite nice already. I have a feeling I'm not going to fit the whole thing yet, but that should be just fine. Let's look at the body of the beer. Yeah, so very carbonated, medium to large bubbles, kind of pale golden, cloudy colour, nice soapy white head. Not really soapy, foamy, that's the word for it probably. Very fizzy, that's for sure. Lovely scent to it. Nice lemony tartness. Some pretty good pronounced hops as well. A bit of a malty kind of sweetness to it. A bit of a banana, a bit of clove. Yeah, very complex already. Kind of mixture of like a wheat beer, Belgian strong pale ale, and just a pilsner maybe. So very, very appetizing, that's for sure. Let me add just a tad more so we can dig into the taste test. So here goes my first Saison. Let's give it a try. Very tasty. You do feel the alcohol right away, but it's also very, very complex with the fruitiness, some bitterness from the hops, a very kind of floral hoppiness to it, and I think the carbonation only adds to it. Recently I had a Unibrew beer, the Don de Dieu, which is a 9% Belgian strong ale, and it's kind of similar to this one, but this one has more tartness to it, definitely more lemon notes, because the Unibrew had more like pear, apple kind of connotations. But although it's strong, it doesn't kind of linger on the alcohol kick to it. You feel it in the very beginning, kind of, and then it kind of fades away. And the finish is nice, very quite hoppy, a bit of bitterness, a bit of fruitiness, very balanced with a bit of sweetness as well. And I like the combination of the fruitiness and the hops. You know, usually with Belgian beer, it's either very strong, hoppy kind of, you know, even though it's balanced, it might be balanced, but you still get more hops. Or it's very like light-bodied and more like a wit beer would be like. But this is kind of a bit of both, a bit of everything. Having said all that, it's not from Belgium, so the folks at Harpoon are doing a fantastic job, I think, with this series. But I'll get back to you. I'll gather my thoughts up. And you know what? This beer is amazing. That's all, as much as I can tell you. It's just so nicely balanced and it's complex. And yes, it's 9%. You get the alcohol, very upfront, you know, but kind of fades away and you kind of get used to it. And if you expect that beforehand, you're not going to be, you know, much surprised about it. The finish is very nice. There's a bit of that tartness to it, lemon-like tartness. This beer is not being tart to the extent, you know, that's sour or anything like that, but sort of enhances the flavors of the hops, the malts, the yeast, everything. Wonderful fruitiness, which is I started getting some pear notes as well as lemon and banana, so it has a bit of spiciness to it as well. But again, it's very well balanced. With loads of Quebec beers, local beers for me, you get too much spice. I'm not really tolerant of that in most cases, but this one is very, very balanced. The drinkability is good as long as you keep it to 1 or 2 bottles. Like if you have more than 1 or 2, probably gonna jeopardize the taste. But you know what? Wonderful beer. Didn't expect it to be as good. By the way, thanks for Barry from Barry's Beer Reviews for recommending this beer. He actually once bought this with me, so didn't expect it to be as good. What am I going to grade this? A 9 out of 10. My first Saison, I know maybe I'm not really knowledgeable about the style, but I read about it. Seems like a very, very good beer and a very good starter for me, despite being 9% here. So 9 out of 10 for Harpoon Leviathan Saison Royale. I'm going to end this here. Good beer, go and get it if you haven't. Probably not very expensive in the States. I'm going to seek out more Harpoon beers next time I go to the States for sure. So that's all I have to say for this